Visit thehoundsandtap.com for more details. That's thehoundsandtap.com.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
I hope they're brave enough to face us another 3 games after less than a week.
And Tyrone, a high drive, left field, Benson back, track, gone!
The Brewers are in Atlanta against the Braves, with coverage starting today at 5:45 on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 9 o'clock, it's 78 degrees, possible severe thunderstorms later this afternoon into the evening, a high of 85 near the lake, 93 degrees inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson giving us a bit of an idea where these storms could pop up.
There's a question as to whether or not they develop to our north and move to the south or develop right overhead and move into Illinois. Regardless, we've got heat, we've got humidity, instability, and the atmosphere is going to cooperate here to produce some pretty strong storms if everything can come together.
Additionally, a heat advisory resumes for Jefferson and Walworth counties this afternoon at noon, continuing until 8 this evening. Your complete 5-day forecast coming up right after the news. A car crash turning deadly in Kenosha this morning. 2 dead, 1 in critical condition after a red truck crashed into the Play It Again Sports Building near 41st Avenue and Highway 50. Kenosha police not saying at this time if speed or alcohol was a factor in the crash. The identities of those killed have not yet been released. Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball hosting a press conference in Milwaukee's Sherman Park in just under an hour. In light of a rise of youth gun violence this month, including the shooting of a 16-year-old at the park earlier this week. Sheriff Captain Charles Stowers says they're hoping to have an increased presence at the park going forward.
Give them something else to do, a positive outlook or something positive to do, and then we just enjoy ourselves. We communicate with them. We show them, some of our equipment, and we just tell them what we expect from them out here in the park this summer.
So far in 2023, the city of Milwaukee has recorded 91 homicides. 3 people have been arrested after Country Thunder in Twin Lakes reported $50,000 worth of entry wristbands were missing. The Kenosha County Sheriff's Department setting up a sale with a man suspected of selling the wristbands online. That man was then arrested after he was found in possession of over 100 of the wristbands. He told deputies he had gotten them from his girlfriend. A subsequent investigation revealed she and another man had received bags of wristbands from an unidentified person. The 3 people, the original man, the girlfriend, and the man she received the wristbands from, have been arrested and charged with receiving stolen property, which is a felony. And federal investigators issuing a final report on a deadly train derailment from 2 years ago.
Poor track conditions that should have been spotted by a freight railroad company's inspectors caused the derailment of an Amtrak train in Montana that killed 3 people and injured 49 others in 2021. That's the conclusion from investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board. The NTSB also said the severity of the injuries were made worse by the Amtrak train's lack of seatbelts and windows that weren't strong enough to keep passengers from being ejected when the train derailed. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
If you'd like to learn more about my recent experience crossing the state on the Empire Builder, visit WTMJ.com or text the word TRAIN to the Old National Bank talk and text line 855-616-1620. Time for news about your money with your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Stocks in the green this morning after the Commerce Department reporting another sign of a resilient U.S. economy with an increase in summer spending across the country. And the stocks responding in kind. The Dow Jones up 161 points to 35,444. S&P 500 up 42 to 4,580. And the NASDAQ Composite up 233 to 14,283. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com. Click on the Get Started button today. Sports traffic and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Times 9:05.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone can call or text 988 or chat via 988wisconsin.org to get connected to a trained Lifeline counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you are concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Looking for a hot ride this summer? Find yours this July at Potawatomi. you could win your share of $400,000 in cash and prizes, or rumble all summer long in one of 4 brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycles. It's the Hot Ride Motorcycle Giveaway this July, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Visit paysbig.com/hot ride for more details. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Radio Guy Emeritus Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Enjoy summer while it lasts, folks, because you know it's coming down the pike. Cold weather and high heating bills. It's not too soon to start thinking about new windows and doors from Hometown. They have options that fit every home, every style, and every budget, even yours. Their huge New Berlin showroom has the area's largest display of replacement windows, doors, and patio doors from national brands like Anderson, Pella, Marvin, Softline, and more. In wood, Fibrix, fiberglass, and vinyl, with scads of features including, wonder of wonders, blinds inside the glass. What's more, Hometown offers you dedicated project consultants with products installed by Hometown's own employee carpenters. Stop in today or call 414-329-1200 or go to hometownwindows.com. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
The trade deadline is off and running in Major League Baseball, and the Brewers not having a game on Thursday, but they made the headlines nonetheless. General Manager Matt Arnold, the company, making a trade with the Pittsburgh Pirates, adding veteran first baseman Carlos Santana for minor leaguer Johnny Severino. The Brewers will get back to work on the field tonight as they are in Atlanta to begin a 3-game set with the first-place Braves. Coverage gets underway right here on WTMJ beginning at 5:45. Over to college football, where Big Ten Media Day was held in Indianapolis on Thursday. Newly hired Badgers head coach Luke Fickell providing a new mentality and a new goal for his Wisconsin program.
We have one objective, and that's to play for a championship. I don't think that'll ever change, whether it's year 1, year 2, 3, 4, or 5. That's what our objective is.
And lastly, over to the NFL, where there's no practice today in Green Bay for the Packers. Day 3 of camp will continue on Saturday morning beginning at 10:30. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Right now, crews have cleaned up a crash that was on 41 northbound near Swan Boulevard. Delays, though, still stretching back to near Greenfield as you're heading through the zoo, and your travel time's also indicating it's still a bit slow. Right now on the 41 northbound stretch from Zoo to Highway Q, it's still 25 minutes. That's an extra 11 on your drive. The other slow spot right now, 43 northbound from downtown to Brown Deer, 15 minutes right now, an extra 4. Also a little bit slow as we continue down that stretch on 894 past the zoo, so between the zoo and the Hale, it'll be a few extra minutes. Right now, 11 northbound, an extra 6.
Traffic is sponsored by Weisgerber's Golden Mast Inn, your place on the lake. Visit goldenmastin.com.
Nothing better than a Friday fish fry with breathtaking views of Okauchee Lake. Enjoy cod, walleye, or lake perch at the Golden Mast Inn. Learn more at goldenmastin.com.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast: heat advisory in effect for Jefferson and Walworth counties starting at noon, continuing until 8 p.m. this evening. The other story we're monitoring is severe weather could be this afternoon into the evening. A high of 85 near the lake, 93 degrees inland. Those showers and storms will end overnight, then patchy fog possible and a low of 67. We'll then cool out and get a little bit more comfortable for the weekend. Sunny and 78 Saturday, more of the same on Sunday, 80 and sunny on Monday. The next chance for slight rain comes Tuesday afternoon with a high of 82 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 75. In Green Bay, you're checking in at 72. Waukesha, it's 73. And in downtown Milwaukee, we've got partly sunny skies and 74 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Times 910.
Good morning, Wisconsin. It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Come give us your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Now, here's your hosts, Sandy Max and Steve Scafidi.
Indeed, it's Friday, Sandy Max. Are you ready for the weekend?
I am. I'm ready for Friday, though, because this is one of my favorite hours of the entire week.
That is true. Political Power Hour. Joining us in studio is the man, Joseph Pecky, Democratic strategist. Good morning, sir.
Hello, hello.
All right, and we'll find out where Bill might. He's always somewhere interesting. Is it interesting or is it a personal one this week, Bill?
Personal, class reunion.
I won't say how many years. It's a long time since I graduated high school.
Oh, did you say the number of years, or you're not saying that?
I chose not to.
He's pleading the fifth.
So what's
you're going to have to subpoena those records.
What high school is this we're talking about?
Superior Senior High School.
Superior Senior High School. What was your mascot?
The Spartan.
Oh,
the Superior Spartans.
Rather unimaginative for Superior. Don't you think?
Shots fired.
Also,
man.
Sort of
Superior is already in the name.
In the current woke environments, it's a little bit aggressive and probably a little over the top. But let's just let that go. I'm just teasing you, Bill. Have fun at your class reunion. So is this like a multi-day thing or just one day?
Oh, yeah. It started yesterday. I didn't go yesterday, but tonight and tomorrow I'll be there, and for the golf outing tomorrow. It should be fun.
Very, very nice.
Seeing a lot of old friends.
Those are a kick. I'm approaching a big milestone one myself. All right, gentlemen, and Sandy, my show poll today is going to be our starting launching point today. And here's what it says. You can find it on Twitter at 620 WTMJ or on my Twitter page at WTMJ Steve.
It's been a few weeks. I thought it was called X now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, God. Some people are still calling.
Yeah.
I would say some people are still calling it Miller Park. So, this is going to take a little while for that name change to stick.
And as I said yesterday, I could care less about what he calls it. I'm calling it Twitter. All right. With former President Donald Trump facing looming indictments across multiple jurisdictions, more breaking news on that we'll probably get to during the hour. What do you think is the most likely option in his future? We'll start with Joe. Win in 24, pardon himself. Plea deal, he won't run. That's an interesting one. It's also the top vote getter, almost 200 votes already. Face jail time or other. What's your answer?
My answer is other. I think, and I'm not looking at it. He's in too deep. And as I understand this for the listeners, yesterday we learned superseding indictments that are very serious. New charges of obstruction of justice, willfully attempting to destroy evidence, ordering people to destroy tapes. I mean, this is serious stuff. And the reason I say other is he's going to run out. He's not going to stop running for president because at this point his only, legal salvation appears to be to win and pardon himself. But I just don't see it happening. And that's, the numbers are what they are. He certainly looks like the Republican nominee, but I just do not see an environment in which the American people look at 4 to 6 ongoing, varying degrees of serious, but some of them very serious legal issues and go, yeah, this is what we want to go with. And so he's going to run. He's probably going to be the nominee. I think he's going to lose the general election, and he's going to literally spend the rest of his life fighting to stay out of jail. The thing going for him, I thought this is very interesting, and I think it's worth noting. Chris Christie, former U.S. attorney, prosecutor, and opponent of Trump, was asked yesterday, do you think Trump will see the inside of a jail cell? And he said, what the American people need to understand is that if in the classified documents case alone, if he is found guilty, there is a presumption of jail time. But once you are 77, 78 years old, that's pretty unlikely.
That's a great point. And I think Chris Christie is exactly right on that. What do you think, Bill, just thinking about those possibilities for the former president in the future?
I think the smart answer is plea deal and not run, but I'm with Joe. I'm in the other category. I don't think I think he stays in this race until the bitter end. And, today he's the leader in the clubhouse and the odds-on favorite to get the nomination. So I think he stays in unless and until there's some intervening event that sort of forces him out or to take a different direction. But I don't see that. And what we do know from the polling is this doesn't seem to impact his supporters in the least. He's got 35, maybe even 40% now of the Republican base that just don't care. They think all this stuff is made up, and some of it actually is. I think this Alan Bragg stuff in New York is garbage. But I think this documents case is real, and Georgia could be very real as well. And, those are things that they're going to have to work themselves through. But it's his poll numbers go up. He raises more money every time there's new indictments. So it defies all logic. Logic would tell you the best path here is take a plea deal and don't run. protect yourself and your family for the future. But I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Bill, you just said exactly what I was thinking. Like, it defies logic on paper. If this was any other leader in a different country in the world, we would go, this makes no sense. This is ridiculous. Those people are fools to elect him. But with this much of a lead in the points and the fact that he just keeps raising more and more money, it sounds ridiculous, but he'd be a fool to drop out of the campaign. He's so far ahead of the game right now.
He loses leverage. Yeah, he loses leverage.
Yeah, he loses leverage. And he loses access to cash, right? I mean, he's raising all kinds of small dollar donations just on these legal issues alone.
We're talking to Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen, Political Power Hour. Lots more to get to. I want to get to, I know Bill and I and Joe are going around and around about this offline, about the Hunter Biden and all the things, the plea deal now off the table. We'll get to that.
No, it's not.
Not off the table?
Hiccup.
Hiccup.
Hiccup. Uh-oh.
Save it for the show, guys. We're taking a break here. 9:17 WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. This week on WTMJ.
Two-time sports writer of the year from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Lori Nickel.
If you want to see the first new quarterback in franchise history since, the last two iconic ones we've had, this is your chance.
The big names.
Joe Thomas, future NFL Hall of Famer. Hey, Joe.
Well, first of all, it doesn't even seem real when you say that, but it gives me just such great pride.
The stories you're talking about.
The movie Oppenheimer. It's doing very well. The Barbie movie beat it, but okay. that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother thing.
News Radio WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scavini for Educators Credit Union. Achieve your financial dreams faster at ECU.com. Educators Credit Union, whether you're dreaming of opening your own small business, go for it. Financing the cost of college, we know that's not cheap. Buying a car, who doesn't like a brand new car? Or paying for your wedding, congratulations. Educators Credit Union is by your side with better rates, lower fees, and award-winning member services designed to help turn your financial dreams into reality. Learn more at ECU.com. Membership open to anyone who lives or works in southeastern Wisconsin. I just joined last year. Absolutely love Educators. You will too. And of course, always federally insured by NCUA.
I'd been living with a snoring problem nearly my entire life. In fact, I can remember my mother teasing me, saying that I'd snore so loudly that the walls of our house would cave in with each breath.
Fast forward only recently, when Jessica's snoring forced her husband out of their bed and into another room. It's a pretty common situation. We call it a sleep divorce, and that's not good. I'm Dr. Mudden Kandula with Advent. After Jessica had a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, we found that her snoring problem required a simple solution. In-office balloon sinuplasty. It's a 20-minute procedure, and it works. You won't find it offered by Big Box Healthcare, but you will find it at Advent, where we offer every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution available. You can hear more of Jessica's story at adventknowsjessica.com and take your first step towards breathing well so you can live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Experience fast, affordable family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. With on-site camping, free parking, and free admission for kids 16 and younger when accompanied with an adult, Road America offers world-class racing and so much more. From sports cars to NASCARs, you can even host your next company picnic or family reunion. Get the full race schedule at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or call 800-365-7223. Road America, America's National Park of Speed.
WTMJ Now.
I want to grow up to be a politician and take over this beautiful land.
Oh, Charlie with some splendid music to bring us back to Political Power Hour, of course. Bill McCoshen on the road, Superior for his high school reunion. Bill McCoshen and Joe Zepecki, Democratic strategist, Republican strategist, right and left, liberal conservative. I'll stop there.
I think they get it.
Gentlemen, just to summarize, because Joe thought I was like overreacting. Now my mouse doesn't work. Come on, mouse, work. Here we go. Joe thought I was overreacting to the sort of dismissal off the table of the plea deal. So Hunter Biden's facing serious charges. The biggest probably the fact that he failed to pay like $1.5 million in federal taxes. There's a gun charge as well, federal firearms offense. He shows up in court expecting his plea deal to probably happen. The judge says, hold on a second. Off the table, my words. Bill, I'm going to go a little bit bigger on this story. Hunter Biden is not the president of the United States. Do you feel, Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, there's a connection between whatever the Hunter Biden story is and the current president of the United States? Because that's all that really matters to me in this.
I'd say yes. I mean, Hunter Biden is not Roger Clinton or Billy Carter, sort of the lovable dope brother. I mean, he's the son of the president of the United States, and he's been accused. Where I would differ with you, Steve, is he's getting off soft. I mean, what's provable against him are serious felonies, both on the gun side and on the tax side. This sham of a deal was for 2 misdemeanors. And let's be clear about something. The judge, Noriega, did not reject the deal. All she did was put a little sunshine on it and started asking some questions. And it became very obvious that both the defense, the United States government, or the prosecution, the United States government, and the defense run the same team. It was the dirtiest deal maybe in the history of our country.
Oh, my God,
perpetrated by Biden's Department of Justice. And she asked questions, and the deal fell apart. It fell apart, that is the right outcome. I wanted her to reject that deal to begin with. I wanted her to put Hunter Biden in prison for the crimes that he committed, because if any of the listeners had done half of that, they would have served jail time. The deal fell apart just from sunshine. A little disinfectant went a long way in this one. There's no way this deal comes back together. And I think this is going to lead to an impeachment of Merrick Garland.
When's your law school reunion, Bill?
All right, but answer what he said. I mean, talk about what he said there. Do you think this is nothing to see here? Just take the plea deal and move on?
I think that within our system, there are checks and balances and institutions that Republicans who purport to love this country used to respect. And now they spend 7 days a week trashing them. Now they denigrate the son of a president, a political opponent, because they don't like him. He will be held accountable. No. He will be held accountable for his crimes, as he should be. But the reason that Bill and my Republican friends can't let this go is so transparent and so despicable. I'm having a harder and harder time not losing my temper over it every single week. Because when Republican Congress people are bringing sexually explicit photos of Hunter Biden into the halls of Congress, which I believe are hallowed grounds, right? When that's the conduct, when they have been looking into Hunter Biden for more than 5 years, most of that time, Donald Trump was in charge of the Justice Department, and all they have to show for it are 2 tax filing issues and a illegal purchase of a handgun. If you had the goods, if this had anything to do with Joe Biden, and if this was anything other than a drug addict whose life has been marred by trauma and tragedy, no one in this studio, no one listening would in a million years choose to have Hunter Biden's life, to be riding in a car when your mother and your sister are killed, to live in the shadow of an older brother who was setting the world on fire in everything, then losing that brother, always being in the shadow and going to very, very dark places and clearly making really, really bad choices. But to pretend that it is anything other than that is disgusting.
Let's look forward. Where does this go next, Bill? What's the next part of this?
Well, the judge, I'm going to disagree with a few things Joe said, but the judge gave him 30 days to come back. But listen, the guy's had some tough breaks in his life. There's no question about this. But he knowingly and willingly committed multiple crimes. There is no question about that. And the only question is why the Justice Department, both under Trump and under Biden, refused to prosecute all of them. The judge said, well, where's the FARA issue? That's the Foreign Agent Registration Act. Hunter Biden represented multiple foreign governments. According to U.S. code, you must register with the federal government, the United States federal government, if you do that. Let's not forget, one of Donald Trump's prior campaign managers, Paul Manafort, went to prison for 9 months for the same exact crime. Judge Noriega asked that question, and it was like, oh, my God, I can't believe she's asking that question. Both sides. The Department of Justice was an embarrassment to every taxpayer in the United States of America. Garland should resign. He won't, but I believe that this will lead to an impeachment of one of the most corrupt DOJ officials in history.
But your party, your leaders in Congress, have now decided it's not Merrick Garland. Kevin McCarthy wants to move forward with an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden because he's not in charge. The grown-ups are not in charge. The absurdity of this, the more you peel back the onion, Bill's hollering about a FARA violation right now, okay? The linchpin of their argument trying to connect the dots, which have not been connected, between Biden and Hunter, is himself under indictment for a FARA violation. And I just want to point out one other thing, because this is actually really important. Manafort, Stone, Bannon, clemency or pardons by Donald Trump, people he was very close to. This week, the White House press secretary was asked, if Hunter is found guilty of these crimes, will the president consider a pardon of them? No. N.O. was the answer. The Biden family is handling this the way that we would want them to, and investigations will continue, but let's stop pretending this is something more than it is.
Bill McCosh and Joseph Pecky on Political Power Hour on this Friday, Steve along with Sandy Max. Lots more to get to. I'm going to pull it back and talk about some Wisconsin politics and a big vote yesterday in the county of Milwaukee. Join us in the conversation if you have a question for the gentleman or Sandy or I. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk or text line. Quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at noon for Experience Wisconsin, where we check in with communities across the state for the best and the brightest spots around the great state of Wisconsin. A lot of fun, a little bit of education. This week, we're joined by Emily Duvall from Old World, Wisconsin, and Teresa Nemitz, the founder of Milwaukee Food and City Tours. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368. This is Chief Home Buying Strategist Brian Wickert. A lot of home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting their pre-approval and financing their new home. That's exactly what Jordan and Michelle did, and it wasn't until after they wrote their 5th losing offer that they took their agent's advice and called Accunet for a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and offer strategy consultation. Every time you write an offer and lose, it's an emotional punch to the gut because you've already imagined having Thanksgiving dinner at that house. We're helping home shoppers and their agents write stronger, more convincing offers every day with powerful tools and strategies that really work. If you don't mind writing 5 losing offers, go ahead and get a flimsy generic pre-approval from your bank or credit union. But if you want the best shot at writing an offer that gets accepted, get a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet, and I'll personally join in on your offer strategy consultation like I did for Jordan and Michelle, whose very next offer was a winner. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Life is just getting started at 3 Pillars, Wisconsin's top-rated continuing care retirement community. Located on 300 beautiful Lake Country acres, 3 Pillars is taking reservations for new high-end active adult residences. With 4 styles to choose from and amenities like a supper club, fitness center, spa, pub, dog park, trails, and gardens galore. The choice is easy as you start your next adventure. Learn more at 3pillars.org.
You can give them the same old, or you can surprise them with something unique from St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Store at a bargain. Almost new, but really cool. The thing about thrift store gift shopping is that you never know what you'll find, but when you find it, you'll know it's right. That's what makes it fun. And if you just can't choose, gift cards are always available at St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ now.
All right, now that we got them warmed up properly in the first half hour of the Political Power Hour, Steve, Sandy, Joe, and Bill, let's lighten up the load a little bit. So we had Congressman Grothman on this. Was that yesterday we had him on? I think so.
Yes, yesterday morning.
He chaired this UAP subcommittee hearing.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yeah, I just call them UFOs because that's what I'm used to saying. That's what all the movies say. So I guess just from a humor perspective, it is kind of interesting that we are spending time on this, don't you think? Because I don't believe in any of this stuff.
Listen, I think it actually connects very nicely to our last conversation,
which
is that there are things that are more valuable for Congress to be spending their time on than this obsession with Hunter Biden.
Stop talking about Hunter Biden. Talk about this.
One of them is, are we alone?
Are we?
I don't know, but I'm good with more transparency here. I do think there's on this conversation, I genuinely think that the national security folks should be given some leeway and some, sort of deference. Not because I think that they want to cover anything up, but I do think a lot of this probably comes down to testing of weaponry by us and our allies and adversaries.
Those are the real UFOs?
Yeah. And now, but are we alone in the cosmos? Probably not.
Let me ask it this way, Bill. Is Donald Trump an alien?
So I'm going to sadly have to admit to your listeners and to my friends on the air here, I was not a sci-fi guy, ever. Like, Star Trek came out when I was in my teens, and I didn't see it until I was in my late 40s. So I went like 30 years before I saw the first Star Trek. And I haven't seen, I don't even know how many there are. So this isn't my thing. I spend no time thinking about it.
Well, they aren't documentaries, Bill.
The heck were you doing, Makasha, with all this time?
Were you spending all your time in Star Wars instead? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I was watching fun stuff like Caddyshack and Stripes and Animal House, right? Sci-fi is not my thing. The guy was convincing. The bald-headed guy or the shaved-headed guy, I did watch some of the testimony. I'm like, man, this dude believes this stuff. I don't know if it's fact or fiction. I don't know if we're alone. And frankly, I don't spend any time thinking about it. I think we got bigger things to worry about in this country and in this state.
It is kind of interesting that we are spending our time and money on this stuff, though. I mean, pretty serious allegations that we are talking about, pilots and respected government officials that are
non-human biologics recovered at.
Yeah. Well, and remember, one of the things the guy said was we're actually spending taxpayer money on this. We are diverting money that was meant for other things for this effort. I thought that was fairly interesting in his testimony.
Okay, so I don't want to spend any more time on that because frankly it bores me. Let's shift to the county of Milwaukee. Yesterday, what was the final vote? Do you remember what it was?
15-3.
Yeah, that's what it was, 15-3. And the council was 12-3. So, I mean, pretty significant votes in favor of the ability to tax to kind of save both the county here and the city previously. Joe, it had to be done.
Yeah, both Bill and I said this, I think the last time we were here, which was 2 weeks ago, that the votes were going to be there. They weren't going to derail at the 11th hour a deal that so many people spent so much time, energy, capital, and good faith, putting together. It just wasn't going to happen. And so now, the hard work begins. I like to think that my better half and I did some of it over the weekend when we were in Nashville, because I'm going to tell you, we were a two-person welcoming wagon. Oh, you should go to Milwaukee. We got to get these folks in here and start spending their money with that additional little sales tax in.
Yeah, also you picked up a souvenir.
Perspective. David Crowley's name is on the list of people who a lot of Democrats and a lot of Democratic donors think will be a serious contender potentially for governor in 2026 in the state of Wisconsin. So watch how this plays out for Crowley. Kudos to him for getting his work done and doing it, under the radar. He just, took his lunch bucket to work and got what the people of Milwaukee needed. And yesterday, the end result was a massive victory with County Board.
And we will have one of the County Board supervisors on about 10:15 today, Steve Taylor, who I know very well from his work in Franklin and his previous service on the County Board. Gentlemen, just a real... Oh, Sandy.
Oh, yes. I was say, Billy, it's interesting that
Omar Sheikh owns Milwaukee Steakhouse. Billy from Bank.
Got some gremlins.
That's okay.
We got some gremlins.
Move forward.
Oh, now she's back.
Oh, I was saying, Bill, I found it interesting that you mentioned that Crowley could be in talks to be campaigning for mayor, because I think both he and
I think he meant governor.
Oh, excuse me. Did I?
Governor.
Yes.
So forgive me. Now we're on track. But interesting to hear Crowley in talks for governor, because I believe that Crowley and Mayor Johnson have been pretty much commended for going to Madison and truly trying to have real conversations that are productive. So I would think that could lay the foundation for that to be a successful candidacy.
Well, we know that you can become governor if you are first Milwaukee County executive. Scott Walker proved that. And this is more Joe's lane than mine. But in my talks with, major donors on the Democratic side, the names that come up are Josh Call, the Attorney General, David Crowley, the Milwaukee County executive, Sarah Rodriguez, the Lieutenant Governor. Those are the three primary names that come up. And frankly, the folks I've been talking to think Crowley's at the top of that list. So we'll see how it plays out. And again, this is Joe's lane, not mine. But keep your eye on David Crowley. I think the guy's he's got a future for sure.
Time for another break. You're listening, of course, to the Political Power Hour. Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen, Sandy and Steve. You know where you're at. WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Hey, Wisconsin, Greg Matzik here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac. Hey, go where summer leads you and drive inspired in the new Mazda car or crossover or Mazda certified pre-owned model that's right for you. The Season of Discovery sales event is where to gear up for your journey. Get more Mazda for your money, more for your trade, while you experience Team Holiday's award-winning guest care and simplified buying approach. It's the stuff that makes fans out of drivers from all over Wisconsin, and I'm one of them. Explore all that's new, including the first ever Mazda CX-90, and treat yourself to a test drive at Wisconsin's #1 Mazda dealer. It's #1 Mazda certified pre-owned dealer and the Badger State's only recipient of the prestigious Mazda President's Club Award, recognizing excellence. Accolades are per Mazda North American Operations Performance and Zone Sales Records for 2022. Find yours and discover the difference during the Season of Discovery sales event at Holiday Mazda, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and online at holidaymazda.com. It's worth the trip.
Your first date? Going well. The carnival? Cash only. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when you decide to win that giant stuffed purple raccoon at $5 a throw, we're looking out for you. No matter how many throws it takes. You've got this. With 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Kohler Services. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. It's WTMJ Now.
It is Friday. That means Political Power Hour. Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen, Sandy, and Steve. This is an interesting question, Sandy, because you posed this to me a couple days ago, and I thought, let's ask the gentleman this question.
Well, I happen to be one of the probably very few people who watched a town meeting on the Scripps News channel, and it was a No Labels Party town hall.
How'd they do?
Well, it was very civil. It was very conversational. But it was news to me, really, that there's any momentum trying to be gained in what you could describe as an independent party.
Yeah, air quotes around momentum.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, the No Labels Party. But yeah. I figured it would be an opportunity to ask the political minds of the Political Power Hour to both of you, is the No Labels Party, is it going anywhere?
Bill, you or me?
I think it is going somewhere. And the reason I think it's going somewhere, Sandy, is because most people today expect Donald Trump and Joe Biden to have a rematch. And most people don't want that rematch, yet that's where we're heading. So this would create an alternative. It's supposed to be a bipartisan ticket, one Democrat, one Republican. I don't know who would be president or VP. Names like Joe Manchin have certainly circulated, and the former Republican governor, Larry Hogan from Maryland. But it really depends. Traditionally, third parties hurt the incumbent the most. The biggest example of that would have been in 1992 when Ross Perot got 19% nationwide and prevented George Herbert Walker Bush from a second term. Bill Clinton became president of the United States, which with 43% of the vote. Joe can correct me on that. A lot of people think that the Green Party prevented Hillary Clinton from becoming president in Jill Stein in 2016. Probably some merit to that argument. But in this particular case, if it is Biden versus Trump, I think it could split equally. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans that can't see their way to voting for Trump for a third time. There are a lot of Democrats who I think are becoming disheartened with Biden. So it's hard to say where that would shake out, but I think it will be a relevant factor, at least for the next 6 or 7 months, Sandy, as we see how at least the Republican nomination process shakes itself out. And if I'm right and Joe Biden isn't ultimately the nominee on the Democratic side, who they replace him with.
It is not surprising to me that people would try to capitalize on the dissatisfaction with our politics, right? I mean, we see it every single day, and there's long been talk about, boy, I'd love to have another option. And I understand people who feel that way. The problem, among the problems with no labels, is Trump's looming, path to the nomination. That because of the unique threat that he poses